decision. And they were not easy decisions, because you as clubs came back to us with a whole lot of really good recipients, and you're going to hear about that later on this evening. So lastly, I can't hold the mic and not shout out to my family, and that's our little corner in Otara, on Ngāti Otara Park, to all the sports clubs that are there, and the Sporkins family. Welcome tonight. Thank you.
Who was the convener of the group, and there was a small group of 3 judges who met some weeks ago to make the decisions, and I was really glad to host them in the office, and I said, I hope you guys get it right, because if you don't, you will be rioted. So go after them, catch them as they go out. I'll give you their number plates too. Just before I invite our representative, part of the local board at the time, when we were to each of you, can we extend our congratulations to you, our thanks to you? I know that there are officials, there are people who volunteer for the sports clubs week in, week out. You're the ones that make sure that uniforms are ready, you make sure everyone's ready to play, you're taking people along to the sports fields and to the clubs. Can we just acknowledge you and say thank you very much, because often you're the unsung heroes, you're the people who just get out and do the work. When Fia was contacting people about getting nominations in, it was really hard, because a lot of people were saying, like people had really long lists, and it took us some time as we were talking with coaches, and we would end up with these long lists, and they go, but maybe not.
Ia velo leo whainu sui mo le Otara Pakatoitoi local board, nā tau te tālofa atu, nā whawhaino ai atu, I le Minister, le Kapemeka, New Zealand, Honourable Minister Jimmy Saresa, whapea fwoi no Fionga Pisita, Samuel Tuhinga, Tupu Matamari, Whanau Ponu, Whakatunga Tausi Pio Lava le whanau. Mā lo lava le soifua maua ma le langi mama. Kia ora na mānoa le nei whakarofuna i atu, Pula Vinaka, and warm Pacific greetings on behalf of the Otara Pakatoitoi local board. As official said, my name is Apulu Risa Otanga Vainga.
Yeah, real privileged and honoured. Like Ruben said, he thought I came from Huntly. My mum cried when we moved back to Huntly, because we moved back to the marae. My mum didn't want to leave, so we went back to the farm, but she ended up moving back up here to Auckland and still lives in our whare down Geraldine Road. So yeah, just very, very, very humbled listening to all the nominees tonight and the potential that we have. As Rashi said, you know, we've had some awesome talent come out of Otara, the community. It's absolutely fantastic. So it's just very, very privileged to be here tonight. Played for East Tamaki, same as Rashi. I can still remember the couple of teams that I played in. There was Jerry Losia, Alex Tupou, a whole lot of these other guys, Willie Reihana, Rodney Martin, Victor Hohepa. So growing up in Otara taught me 3 things that have held me in really, really good stead to where I am today. One, being able to communicate very effectively. Because growing up with all the islanders, mate, you had to be talking to this guy, you had to give him the eye, you had to wink at them. Some of them needed a slap, you know, to get them going. Well, it was really interesting growing up and playing in a rugby team, and it was real something that really has held me in good stead. So talking and engaging with our Pacific Island community and growing up in Otara was you know, one of those founding members. Like Rashi said, Francis Leilua, he also coached the rugby team, but he was also recruiting for the Stormtroopers. Did you guys remember that? Francis, hey, hard out, bro. He was the start of the Stormtroopers. So one of my younger brothers ended up going in the Stormtroopers. One of my older brothers down Sandra Ave ended up at the Tribesmen down there when they had their pad. That was their first pad, just off Capstick down at Sandra Ave there. And I used to hang out at the Tung Hai at East Tamaki. Remember the old takeaway bar at Tung Hai? Used to be the Chinese. We all used to go there after rugby training, all the boys would, because we didn't have much to eat, we'd just go down there and try and rip something off. But there was a bakery next to the East Tamaki Rugby Club. And we all used to jump over the fence and have fresh bread all the time. That's what we used to do after training. That was our extra training. Jump over the fence, get away and try and get out as fast as you could. That's why we were really fast. That's how we learned to run really fast at East Tamaki Rugby Club. Otara Scorpions, first club I ever played for, played rugby league, so big shout out to the Scorpions over there. Growing up, and that's when I first went down there to play league with a couple of my other mates. So one of my cousins lived down Franklin Road, just near Hillary College. One of my other cousins lived up in Flatbush, up in Vickerman, and some of my other whānau lived just down the road too. So there was a whole lot of network, and you know, for a lot of us Māori, they drifted to Auckland because of the mahi and all that. And Rashi talked about the seafood down there at Otara at the flea markets in the main car park where Otara is today. So my cousins used to have the mussel and fish and kina truck. So like Rashi, I'd be down at the flea market having mussels and kinas and pawas and selling them all. But it was a good place to try and chat up girls too. There was a good place to chat up girls at the seafood place. So the flea market was the place to go, and that's where you used to get all the hookups when we were young. So as Rashi said. But the great thing about Otara is the community and the people that we have here. It's a fantastic community. You know, I've lived here, went to primary school, went to intermediate, went to Tangaroa College, and eventually when we moved back to the farm down Huntly, I went back and I ended up playing league and kicking on from there. But the grassroots and the foundation on me being representing, I played Roller Mills, played for Auckland under 15s, under 14s and rugby union too.
Trip for the year down to Hillary College, but anyway, you know, when I come back down, I went up to the East Tamaki Rugby Club because I didn't know too many people in Auckland anymore. And my dad said, if you want to make new mates, go join a local rugby club. You'll have 15 straight away. And you know, that's exactly what happened. And that's a great thing about sport, is the friendships that you make over the years. And you know, going up to East Tamaki was the first time I'd been around island people. And man, hard case, man, far out. And it was Samoan, Tongans, Tokoleo, Fijians, Niuean, the whole lot, all at the one club. And in those days we were hopeless, man. We got smashed every weekend. The Manukau Courier, they called us the possums because we played dead at home and got killed on the road, which I actually thought was quite clever, but a lot of our Samoan fellas didn't get the joke. But I actually, myself and Frank Bunce, who's another South Auckland fella, we sat on the bench for Auckland for 6 years. And in those days, the reserves never got on. We just sat there. We had some good feeds at Eden Park on Saturday afternoons, but we never got on, and we decided we'd go over the bridge to try and make the All Blacks, and you know, luckily for both of us it worked. But I always lived out here, and I always coached kids at East Tamaki. And when I finished playing football, I come back to the club. And the mix had changed. The whole club was Samoans. No white fellas, and I was the only Māori fella. And English was the second language. But the coach was the same fella, Francis Leilua. So La was still coaching. So I went up to La and says, oh, La, I'm coming back. I want to play, but I want to play flanker again because I always used to play number 7. But when I made the All Blacks, I used to be quite fast, so they put me out on the wing. But when I come back to ET, I was like 42 years old. And the only difference between full pace and half pace was facial expression, you know. So I said, oh, bro, I want to play in the forwards. He said, you play anywhere you like, but to get on in this team, you got to get on with the first 5. His name is Tupou Whakamasino. Played for Manu Samoa, all these young Samoans, they look up to him. You get his respect, you get the automatic respect of everybody in the club. That's how the Samoans roll, you know. And he said, you don't speak English that well. I said, that's cool. I've hung out with Glenn Osborne quite a bit, you know. So I went out to Tupou. I said, Toops, have you got a call for when you move the ball out to the wing so I can take a shortcut, get there quick? He said to me, any of the gala. I thought, what the hell did he just say? You know, I'm looking blank, so he started filling me in. Red, yellow, blue, any of the gala. I said, oh. I said, any of the colours? He said, that's what I said. I was like, sweet as, bro, sweet as. I said, what about if you bring the ball back to the forward so I don't waste my time running over there? He said, any of the fruits. The apple, pineapple, banana. And for me, that's pretty straightforward. I can remember that. Saturday afternoon, first scrum, our ball. I looked at Tupou. I said, bro, what's the call? He said, orange. Is he having me on or what, you know? But he had this deadly serious look on his face, so I thought I'd just hang around and see what happened. And at halftime, I went up to the prop. He's a rara fellow. He speaks pretty good English. I said, Sam, I said, what's orange, man? That's actually a fruit and a colour. He said, bro, he said, you're the first one that's picked that up. He said, we've been using that call for the last 2 years. So, that was meant to be my last year, but I actually played another couple of years after that because I enjoyed myself so much. But, and that's why I wanted to finish at East Tamaki because it is my home club. I coach a lot of kids there. Willie Maya, what's it, Tangaloa, is it? Tangaloa is your first name? I coached his nephew at that club that long ago. And Willie's nephew, his namesake was 155 kgs, 13 years old. And the talent that comes, Roger Tuvasa, Malani Nanai, Sione Molia, all in the same team. These kids have got unbelievable talent. And to all you young ones here today, my message to you is that talent is actually your biggest enemy. Because when you're young, it's easy. But talent will only get you so far. And you look at T and Rubes and Bubby, they had talent, but there's one thing that gets you to the very top, and that's hard work. And so, to all you young people, go away and work hard. Don't rely on that talent because it's not enough. But I'm very honoured, as Rubes has just said, to be asked to be inducted into the Hall of Fame with these three other legends of our little community. And it's not much, but wherever I went in the world, man, I always said I was from Otara. They didn't say Otara back in those days, it was Otara, and 274. We all caught the 486 and the 457 and the 497, and where all those chip shops down the shopping centre, there used to be Otara Beach. That's where you got all the seafood back in the days. And I don't know if anybody can remember the Otara flea market with the souvlaki stand. That was my job for 6 years. I worked in a souvlaki stand. I made it mean souvlaki just quietly, but that's just a big part of my upbringing. And always pay homage to Tangaroa and East Tamaki and our community. So thank you to the organisers for honouring myself and the three other inductees tonight. And this will always be home. And T had a chance to go to the World Cup final in Brisbane. He turned that down to be here tonight, and that's what it's about for us. So I think I've talked far too long, and I just say kia ora.